Hi, my name is Ed Herzog, and today I'm going to show you how to create the Puma Mega Menu using Crocoblock. First, let's take a look at the Puma Mega Menu. So you see this Mega Menu has 7 items on it: new arrivals, women, men, kids, collaborations, sport, and outlet. So let's take a look at each of these items so we know what we're going to be creating. So here under new arrivals, you see that most of it is text, but I also have over here a photo slider. Under women is all text, but it's 2 different types of text. So you have this text over here, and then you have this that is subcategorized by different options. Men is exactly the same as women, but kids is structured a little bit differently. It again has this section over here similar to women and men, but here you have these main categories, and you have some subcategories here under these main categories. Collaborations is set up this way, so you just have these 2 main categories and then these subcategories here. Sport is set up this way, very similar to this, but with more categories. So it has 5 categories with subcategories under each of those. And then outlet is similar to women and men over here. And then over here you have these main categories with some subcategories under each of those. So this is the mega menu that we're going to be creating in Crocoblock. Now, in order to create this particular mega menu, I'm going to be using 3 separate plugins from Crocoblock. First of all, I'll be using JetMenu to create the mega menu itself. Secondly, I'll be using the JetThemeCore to create this header space here where I'll be placing the mega menu. And then finally, I'll use JetElements to add the slider feature there to this particular element. So those are the 3 Crocoblock plugins that I'll be using in this demonstration. Now, before I get started with creating the actual menu itself, what I want to do is I want to turn on the Revamp version of the Crocoblock Mega Menu plugin. That will give me access to the most recent version of the plugin. So what I want to do is I want to come here to Crocoblock and then come to Jet Plugin Settings. I'm going to scroll down here, and right there I have JetMenu. I'll expand that, go to General Settings, and scroll down here, and I just toggle right there and I turn on the Revamp menu. So the first step in creating this mega menu is I want to create these main categories: new arrivals, women, men, etc. So I'm going to come over here to my WordPress dashboard, come down to Appearance, and click on Menus. Then from here I want to create a new menu, and we'll call it Puma Mega Menu. And come down here and click on Create Menu. So now I've created a menu called Puma Mega Menu. And what I want to do now is I want to add those 7 main menu items to this particular menu. Now on the Puma website itself, those menu items are clickable links. But because I don't have those particular pages on my website, I'm going to add them as non-clickable links. So I'm going to come down here to Custom Links, scroll down, and here under URL, I'm going to add an asterisk. And then under link text, we'll start with new arrivals and go ahead and add to menu. So you see here, I've added that as a custom link. It's a non-clickable link. So now I'm going to go through and do the rest of those real quick. So now I have a menu created with those 7 main menu items. What I want to do now, if we come up over here under JetMenu Location Settings, it says here, please assign this menu to a theme location to enable the JetMenu settings. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom, and I'm going to assign it to Main, and click here on Save. And then scroll down here, and for Main, we will enable JetMenu for the current location. And come down here and save it again. So the next step is I'm going to start adding the mega menu content to each of these 7 main categories. So I'll start here with new arrivals. So I'll hover over there and click on Settings. And then here I will use mega content, enable that, and then go ahead and save it. And then come here to Edit Mega Content. And now I'm in the Elementor editor where I can start creating the mega menu content. Now let me come back over to the Puma website, and if I hover over new arrivals, you see we have 4 main sections for this particular part of the mega menu. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to come over here and click on that and add a structure with 4 sections. So if I come back over here, hover there, we see the first section here has 4 text links. So let me come over here and I'm going to add 4 text links to this section here. So let me come over here and click on that. Now I can add those menu items either by using the heading widget or the text editor widget. I'm going to use the heading widget because in my case I found that the text editor widget adds a bit too much space between the different items. So let me go ahead and grab the heading widget and drop that in there and get rid of this text here. And that first one was called Launch Calendar. And then I'd want to add a link in here. Again, because I don't have anything called Launch Calendar on my website, I'm not going to add a link in here, but obviously if you're doing this for real, you'd want to add the link in right there. So now I'm going to come up over here and duplicate this several times so we have the 4 different menu items. And then I'm going to change the text for each of those. Okay, so now I have those 4 menu items created, and what I need to do now obviously is style that text, because obviously I don't want this to be blue. I want it to be similar to this right here with this gray text and also a lot smaller. So let's go ahead and tweak these headings so they're similar to the headings for the Puma Mega Menu. So I'm going to come up here and click on that, and the text color they use is 181818, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then go to typography. Now it wasn't clear which font family they were using. It looked like perhaps a proprietary font, so we'll just keep this as Roboto. The size of the font was 14 and the weight was 400. And then we'll go ahead and copy this and use the paste style. Okay, so these should now be fairly similar to what we have here on the Puma Mega Menu. They won't be exactly the same because, again, I'm probably using a slightly different font than what they're using, but in general, this is very similar to what they've created for their Mega Menu. Now, you may have noticed that we have a bit more space between our headings than what was on the Puma Mega Menu. The space between these headings is actually controlled within the Elementor site settings, so I will change that, but I'll change it later on in this tutorial. For now, what I want to do is I want to come up here and copy this. I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to do it 4 times because there was also 4 headers right here in this section. Then this one here only had 3 headings, so I'll paste this 3 times here. And then I'm going to go through and change the text for each of those different headings. So as you can see, I went ahead and changed these right here as well as these over here off video. Now what I want to do is I want to add a slider right here. So I'm going to come over here and search for a slider. And this is one I want. I'm going to drag this over here and drop it in there. So we're obviously going to need to do quite a bit of styling here in order to make this look like the slider that was in the Puma Mega Menu because those were only photos. So let me come over here and first let me get rid of slide number 2 and slide number 3 because what I want to do is set up slide number 1 and then I can duplicate it. So I'm going to click here. And I want to get rid of this text right here and get rid of that text right there and scroll down here and get rid of that text right there. And then I want to get rid of the button. So I'm going to get rid of that right there. And then I need to get rid of that pagination. So I'm going to come here to settings and scroll down here and get rid of the navigation. So what I want to do now is I want to come back up here and come to items and then duplicate that 2 times and then come here and add some photos. Now obviously I don't have access to the same photos they have on the Puma website, so I'm just going to throw in some photos here just for this demonstration. And so I'll just put that one in for the first slide and then come down here. And for the second slide, I'll put that in. And then for the third slide, let me see here, I will use this image right there. Go ahead and insert that one. So now I have images for each of those slides within my slider. Now I obviously still need to make more changes so that this is similar to the Puma Mega Menu. And one thing is that on the Puma Mega Menu, this column here is a lot wider than the other columns. So I'm going to go ahead and make this column 40% and the other columns here 20%. So I'll start here and change this one to 20% and change this one to 20% and another one to 20%. And this should already be 40%. Yeah, that one's already 40%. So these columns should now be much more similar to what they have on the Puma Mega Menu. So another issue is obviously that this photo is vertical when it needs to be horizontal. So let's go ahead and change that. So I'll click here and come here to settings and change the height to 300 pixels. Okay, that looks a lot better, but I also need to get rid of these thumbnails down here. So let me scroll down here and let's turn off those thumbnails. Okay, so that's a lot similar to what the Puma Mega Menu looks like right there, with this here being vertical and taking up a fairly large amount of space over here, and then these being much smaller in terms of the column width. So another thing that I want to do is I want to create some space both at the top and at the bottom. So I'm going to come up here to the section and go ahead to advanced and unlink those values and come over to percentage. And I'm going to give 5% to the top and also 5% to the bottom. I also need to push this column here down a little bit because on the Puma Mega Menu, this column is below these other columns here. So let me do that. Click there, and again, come to advanced, unlink the values, come to percentage, and again, give this a 5%. So let's take a look and see how this compares to the Puma Mega Menu. So I'm going to go ahead and push that over there, and then compare it to this one here. It's not 100% exact. It's hard to get something exactly the same because again, I've got different photos, so I have different photo sizes. Again, I don't know exactly what column widths they're using, but overall I'd say this is the same general structure as what you're seeing on the Puma Mega Menu. So I mentioned before that another thing that I want to do is reduce the amount of space between these headings. That I need to do that within the Elementor site settings. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click here on this arrow, and then go to site settings, and scroll down, click on layout. You see here the default widget space is 20. So let's go ahead and change that to 10 pixels. Okay, again, I think that looks much more similar to the Puma Mega Menu. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, again, there is not a lot of space between those widgets. That looks very similar here to what we have. It looks like they're probably using about 10 pixels, and that's what we have here. So let me come back out here and go ahead and click on Update. So this is now similar to the Puma Mega Menu, at least this part of it. So let's go ahead and move on to the next part. So I'm going to come over here and close out of that and go ahead and save this here. And I can close that and scroll down, and now we can move on and start working on the next part of the Mega Menu, the part that says Women. So let me click here on Settings and again enable the Mega Content. And then click on Edit Mega Content. And let's come over here and take a look. So this has 5 columns to it. So we'll do the same over here. Go ahead and click there and right there, 5 columns. We'll add that in there. And now we'll go ahead and edit this so that it looks similar to what is on the Puma Mega Menu for that particular section. So I'm going to start by taking a heading widget and dropping it in the first column. And let's go ahead and style this. So again, the color here was 181818. And the typography, this is actually slightly larger than what we saw in the first part of the Mega Menu. So this is size 16 with a weight of 500. The other thing that is different here, for the headers here in the very first column, they have a hover effect on them. The ones over here do not. So I'm going to have to add this by custom CSS. So I'm going to come here to Advanced and scroll down here to the bottom, click on Custom CSS, scroll back down there again, and I already have this ready, so I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there. And that will make sure that there is a hover effect on these ones here, but again, that will not be applied to the headers that are over here. So what I want to do now is I want to duplicate this several times. I'm not going to do quite as many as what they have in the Puma Mega Menu because I have quite a few in this particular column, but we'll put in about 5 or 6 of these. Let's keep duplicating and do one more here. Then I'm going to change the text of these off video so you don't have to sit there and watch me change the text. So the other thing that I need to do here is that the word sale actually has a red color to it as the main color. Now I'm not sure exactly what color they're using because the font finder that I have doesn't show the main color, it shows the color for the hover color. So I'm just going to put a reddish color in here. So I'll come over here to Style and come over here and go right about there. It looks good. And if we come over here and take a look, looking over here, again, it's not exactly the same. Again, I'm not sure exactly what font they're using here because it looks like it's some sort of a proprietary font that I don't have access to. But again, we see here that the basic structure is the same here as the Puma Mega Menu. So let's move to the second column now. So let's come over here and take a look at that. And if I look here, we see we have the word shoes, which is darker. Again, it has this hover effect. We've got a line underneath it. So let's go ahead and start on that part. So come over here. I'm going to go ahead and copy it and paste it here. And then this was actually a style of 700. So we'll go ahead and change that here. Okay, so that should be about the same, but now we need that line underneath it. So let's take a look how to do that. So one option is to come here to the Advanced tab and scroll down and go to Border and scroll down here again. We'll go to Solid Border and unlink those values. Go to a value of 1 for the width and go ahead and give it the darkest black color. And that works, but as we see here, there's really no space between the text and the border. So that's probably not the best way to do this. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Go ahead and change this to none. And instead we'll do this by adding a divider. So search for that and go ahead and drop a divider in here, right there. And I'm going to come over here to Style and reduce the gap. And is already the blackest color. Let's maybe make this about a 1.5 for the weight. Okay, so there we now have a black line underneath that main title. So let's go ahead and take another heading widget and drop it in underneath the divider right there. And again, this is 18, 18, 18. And for the typography, this is similar to the first part of the Mega Menu. So this is size 14 with a weight of 400. And one of the things I realized is that these actually do have a hover effect, but is just a slightly darker black. So I'm going to come over here to Advanced and come down here to Custom CSS. And go ahead and drop in the code. And instead of that color there, I'm just going to make this the darkest black possible. Again, it may not be exactly the same as the Puma Mega Menu, but that is the basic effect they're going there, from a lighter black to a darker black. And I'm actually going to have to go back that first part of the Mega Menu and add this in as well, because those also have this particular hover effect on them. So from here, what I want to do is I want to duplicate these, add them across here, and then add more of these down here as well as titles down here. But I'm going to do all of that off screen and also change the actual words off screen so you don't have to watch me do that. It's a fairly tedious process, just a lot of copying and pasting. So I have all this set up now, again, with these 4 titles with the lines underneath them and then some other headers right here. Again, I didn't put as many headers as I have on the Puma Mega Menu because they have quite a few headers, but it's, again, basically the same. And what I need to do now is, again, add some extra space at the top and the bottom. So I'll come over here, click on that, and I will go ahead and unlink those values, come to %, and again, I want to add 5% to the top and 5% to the bottom. So that gives me some space here at the top and the bottom. So let's go ahead and slide that over and take a look and compare it to the Puma Mega Menu. Again, it's not 100% the same. Sometimes it can be a challenge to recreate something and make it look exactly the same, but these are generally the same in terms of the structure of the mega menu. So what I want to do now is I want to save this as a template. And the reason why is if I come over here, you see that the women and the men, the structure is exactly the same. And for the rest of these, it's different, but it's not all that different. So by having a template, I can then quickly make the changes for these other parts. So I'm going to come over here and go ahead and right click on that and save as template. And we'll just call this Puma Mega Menu Template and go ahead and save it. So I went ahead and closed out of the Elementor builder, and now I need to save this because I forgot to do that earlier. So let me go ahead and do that. And now we can move on to the next section of the mega menu. So now let's create the men section. So I'll come over here to settings, click on that. Again, turn on use mega content and click on edit mega content. So now what I want to do, if you recall, the structure of the men's section and the structure of the women's section on the Puma mega menu, they're exactly the same. So I saved the template. So I'm going to click right there and come to my templates and go ahead and search for it. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and insert that and click no. And there I have this part of the mega menu already set up. Now I do need to go through and change some of the titles here, but the structure is already here. So I'm going to change the titles off video so you don't have to sit here and watch me do that manually. So you can see that I have these titles changed now, and let's go ahead and slide this over. And let's go ahead and take a look at the Puma mega menu. And you can see that structurally, these are very similar. So again, I went ahead and closed out of the Elementor builder. And again, I think I forgot to save this particular part of the mega menu. So let's do that now. Just click right there. And now that's saved and we can move on to the next part of the mega menu. So let's go to the kids section of the Puma mega menu. So again, I'll click here on settings, turn on use mega content, go ahead and save this, and then edit mega content. Now if we look over here at the Puma mega menu, we see that the kids section is a little bit different than the men's section, but it's also fairly similar. So I'm going to start again with that same template that I already have saved, and I'll make changes to that template, and that way I can speed up the process of creating this part of the mega menu. So I'll come over here and click on that, and then click on my templates, and again search for Puma. And go ahead and insert that, and I do not want to import the document settings, and wait for this to load up. So let's head back to the Puma mega menu and take a look at what the kids part of the mega menu looks like. So if I hover over here, we see this is essentially the same as what we already have for the women and men. So I don't need to change anything here other than the text. The same thing along here. Again, we have these titles with a line underneath them and this hover effect. And the same thing down here. Again, we have this title with this line underneath it and then this very slight hover effect. So that part will stay the same, but I need to make some changes here in terms of this right here. I don't have these subtitles on the men or the women part. And again, these do have a hover effect. And then here, these here do not have a hover effect. So I'll need to change that on what I put in via the template. I'll need to take off the hover effect for these kind of subheadings right here. So let me first go through and delete a lot of these here because I'm not going to need them. What I want to do is I want to create first that main kind of subheading and then one of these underneath it, and then I'll just go through and duplicate them. So I'm going to go through and delete all of these here. And the same thing for this part here. Go through and delete these. So let me come over here first and create one of the bolded subheadings. So this is a 700 weight font. Let's just change this here. And then for this here, you get rid of the hover effect. Come down here to my custom CSS. And I'll get rid of this here. And then this is also a slightly different font color. This is 545454, so let's go ahead and change that. Okay, so what I want to do now is, and I'm going to do this off video because again, I don't think you want to watch me do all this, but I'm going to go ahead and create what we have over here. So I'm going to create these a variety of different subheadings here, and then these headers right here. And then I'll change all the text here so it's similar to what we have on the kids part of the Puma mega menu. But again, I will do that off video. So I have this all set up now. Again, this was just a bunch of duplicating and pasting and then changing the words for the different headers. And again, let's take a look here. So I slide that out and we see that if I come over here, that is essentially the same structure. Now, what I want to do now is I want to save this here as a new template. And the reason for that is if I come over here, you see that the structure here is exactly the same as a structure for kids. So that will speed up the process for that part right there. So let me come over here and I will close out of this here, or I'm sorry, push out there. And I want to go ahead and right click there and save as template. And we'll call this, just call it Puma Mega Menu 2. And go ahead and save it. So now I have that template and I can very easily make that last part of the Puma Mega Menu. So let's go ahead and update this, then close out of this. And we already have this saved, but let's go ahead and save it again. And close that. And if I refresh this page, you'll see that part has been activated as well. Right there, you see it. So let's come now to collaborations. And again, we'll go through the same thing. Click on settings, turn that on, save it, and edit mega content. So let's head over here and take a look at what collaborations looks like. So I have just 2 columns there. Again, I have this kind of brown hover effect on the main headings. I've got a line underneath and then a very slight hover effect on these right here. So I think what I'm going to do is bring in this one here that we saved as a template because this is fairly similar here, these columns here, and I can just delete the rest and change the words. So I think that'll be the quickest way to do it. So I'll come over here, click on that, go to my templates, and go with Puma, and want that first one, so insert it, and I do not want to import the document settings, so click No. So let me first delete some of these columns, so I'll delete this one here, and I can delete any 2 of the others, so I'll just do these ones here. And then I need to add in a blank column because there's a lot of blank space off on the right, so add in a new column. And I'm going to set these here at 20%. And let's take a look here. So it looks roughly the same. Very similar in terms of structure. I just need to go through and change the words on that. So again, I will change the words off screen so you don't have to sit there and watch me go through all of that. So I have those titles changed. Again, I did not put in quite as many as what they have on the Puma Mega Menu, but you see, as we've already seen, the structure here is very similar. So I'll close out of here. And again, I already have this saved, but I'll just go ahead and click on Save again. And close out of here. And again, I can just refresh this just to see that that part is activated. So now I can move on to the Sport part of the menu. And again, click on Settings, turn on Use Mega Content, save this, and go ahead and edit mega content. So let's come up over here and take a look, and we see we've got these headings again with the hover effect, a line underneath, and then these again have that very slight hover effect. So again, I'm going to start with that very first template because I think that will speed up the process. Click there, my templates, type in Puma, and insert this one right here without the document settings. So for this, really all I need to do is first go ahead and delete this column, and then I'll go ahead and duplicate one of these. I'll just take that one, duplicate it. And now again, off video, I'm going to go ahead and go through here and change the wording for these different headers and titles. So I have that all changed, and now let's take a quick look. So I'll slide that out. And again, if I hover over here, we see that we have essentially the same structure. So let me come back over here and move that over there. Go ahead and update this, and I can close out here. And again, I'll just save that one more time and close out and refresh. Then the last part, we know the outlet part will be very easy because I already have a template saved in which the structure is the same. So we'll do that now. So go ahead and click on Settings, turn that on, save it, edit mega content. And this time I'm going to import that second template that I created. So I can come over here and insert this one here. And again, I do not want to import the document settings. So for this one here, again, this is already set up, so it's going to be that right there. And all I need to do is go through and change the words on that. And again, I will do that off of the video. So you see that I have the words for the titles and the headers changed. And so now once again, we'll come up here and close out of that. And again, we will save this. And then close out of that and go ahead and refresh this and scroll down, and we see this part has been activated as well. So we now have all 7 parts of the mega menu created, but we still have one very important step in this process, which is to create the actual header space. So again, we need to create this space here where the mega menu is going to be placed. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm going to be using the Crocoblock ThemeCore plugin to create the header. Now, I already have that plugin installed and activated on my website. So I'll come here to Crocoblock and then come to Theme Builder and click on that. And then come up here to Theme Parts and Add New. And we will select here a header and give it a name. Again, we'll just call it Puma Mega Menu. And click on Create Template. So let's head over real quick to the Puma website and take a look at their header. So come over here and looks like they have one section here for their logo, then a second section here for the mega menu, a third section for the search box, and then this fourth section, which is icons. Now I'm going to go ahead and put all 4 sections on my header, but I'm only going to add content for the mega menu because that is the purpose of this video here. So let me come over here and I will click on that. And we'll go with a 4-section template here from Elementor. So what I want to do now is I want to add a little styling to the header space that we just created. So first of all, I want to change the width of some of these columns. So I'm going to come up here, and this one here was pretty small, so I'm going to make this one 10%. And then this one here, I'm going to change to 50%. And I'm going to leave these 2 right there the way they are because, again, I'm not actually going to add any content to any of these other than this one right here. Then I want to come up here to the section settings and come over here. And I want to change the color from that whitish color to 18, 18, 18. Again, that same color we've seen before. And finally, I want to add a little space at the top and bottom. So I will unlink those values and go over to percent, and we'll just go with 1% right there. And again, 1% on the bottom. And so I think that, again, looks fairly similar to what they have for the header space for the Puma Mega Menu. So what I want to do now is I want to take the Mega Menu that we created and put it in this space right there. So let's go ahead and search for the Mega Menu widget. And we want the horizontal version, so I'm going to take that and drop it in there. And then come here and select Puma Mega Menu. So I now have my mega menu within my header, but I obviously still need to make more changes. And the first change is that I did not make that column wide enough, which is why I have 2 rows of headers rather than just 1. So let's go ahead and fix that first. So I'm going to come up here and let's go ahead and change this to 5% and then slide this over. There we go. And again, I don't care about these ones here because I'm not really going to use these in this, or I'm not going to use these in this demonstration. So now we have 1 row of headers, 1 row of titles for our mega menu, similar to the way it is for the Puma Mega Menu. So the next thing I want to do is I want to turn off the drop-down arrows because the Puma Mega Menu does not have drop-down arrows on it. So I'm going to come here into the Mega Menu settings, and I'm going to scroll down and come here and turn off the drop-down arrows. My next step is that I want to change the color of the titles. The color for the titles on the Puma Mega Menu were in a white color. So let's come up here and come over to Style. And we want to scroll down here, and it's the normal state. And so on our title color, it was FFFFFF, 6 Fs. So right there, now we have the white color that is the same as the white color for the Puma Mega Menu. Next up, the Puma Mega Menu has a font size of 16. So let's go ahead and set our font size for the title. So I'm going to come up here and go into item typography and go ahead and enter 16. Now from here, what I want to do obviously is to center those titles, those headers within the column space. So let's go ahead and click out of that and come here to items align and click on center. So now those are centered within the column space. Now let's head back to the Puma Mega Menu to see if there's anything else that we still need to do. I'm going to come up over here and let me just hover over that. So I'm noticing a couple of things here. First of all, when I hover over one of these, we have a little brown line that comes underneath the word that I'm hovering over. Secondly, the other items, the ones that I'm not hovering over, fade out into the background. So I still need to add those two effects into my Mega Menu. The other thing is that the Puma Mega Menu is full width. It extends across the entire screen. The Crocoblock Mega Menu is not full width by default, so I need to make the change so that the Mega Menu that I've created is full width as well. So in order to create those two hover effects, what I need to do is I need to add custom CSS to my Mega Menu. So come back over here and click on that and come to the Advanced tab and scroll down, go to Custom CSS. Scroll back down. I already have my custom CSS ready, so I'm just going to go ahead and paste that in there. And let's go ahead and take a look. And you see we do indeed have that brown line. And you see that when I hover over one of the menu categories, the other ones fade out to a lighter white color. So in order to create those two hover effects, what I need to do is I need to add custom CSS to my Mega Menu. So come back over here and click on that and come to the Advanced tab. And scroll down, go to Custom CSS, scroll back down. I already have my custom CSS ready, so I'm just going to go ahead and paste that in there. And let's go ahead and take a look. And you see we do indeed have that brown line. And you see that when I hover over one of the menu categories, the other ones fade out to a lighter white color. So the final step in making a Mega Menu similar to the one on the Puma website is to make the content full width. As you see here, when I hover over these currently only extend to the width of the column and not the width of the full page. So let me show you how to make this content full width. What I want to do first is I want to come down here and I'm going to go ahead and preview changes. So then I want to come up here to my Chrome browser, click on those three dots, come here to More Tools, and open up Developer Tools. Then I'm going to come here to this icon that says select an element in the page to inspect it. Click on that. I want to come over here, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the class for my full width header. So I have that highlighted now. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. If we come over here, you see that it says section class equals Elementor dash section. So I'm going to add this here, Elementor dash section, with a dot in front of it back here under my Mega Menu widget. So now what I want to do under the Content tab of the Mega Menu widget, I want to come here to where it says Mega Container Width Type, change that to Selector, and then we're going to go ahead and type in that class, which again was dot Elementor dash section. And we'll wait for that to load up. And there it is. And now if I come up over here and hover over these, you see that these are now full width. So let's go ahead and take a look at what our Mega Menu looks like here under Preview Changes. So again, we can see that this is now full width. We have our slider working. We have a very slight hover effect on these here. And by the way, I did slightly change the font color for the non-hover here so that the hover effect shows up a little bit. Again, it's a very subtle effect. And I also put in for the items that have a hover effect, I put in Google as the link, just as a default link, because otherwise the hover effect doesn't show up. Now from here, you would obviously want to do some additional work, such as making sure that your menu displays properly on tablet and mobile. And then obviously from there, you'd want to publish your menu and decide where you want to display it on your website. But at least in terms of creating a desktop version, a laptop version of the Puma Mega Menu, this is how you can go through and do it. So I hope that you found value in this video. If you did, make sure to like this video and then hit the subscribe button for the Crocoblock YouTube channel along with the notification bell so that you know when Crocoblock releases a new video on their YouTube channel. So that's it. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you on the next video.